Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Backyard Farm to Table. I'm Kelvin, and today we are going to make some country style oxtails. Mouth is watering already, just thinking about it. And with that, I'm going to add in some collard greens, but of a different style, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But because this is paleo, it's also therefore gluten-free, because everything paleo is gluten-free, but not everything gluten-free is paleo. So let's get started. I've got some beef oxtails along with country seasoning, some tomato puree, some beef bone broth, Worcestershire. I always am trying to remember how to spell it. I always say Worcestershire. Then I've got some garlic, some dried basil, dried oregano, and bay leaves. Now, I do make my own dried oregano and dried basil using the Ninja air fryer that I got my mom for Christmas, and because she don't use it, and it has the option on there to dehydrate, I use it. What a wonderful gift from mom for me. All right, and then we've got some onion, and lastly, for the goodness, I've got some red wine. Now, the red wine isn't paleo, it's paleo-ish, so if you want strict paleo, leave out the red wine. If you want paleo-ish and some flavor, put this in there. All right, so let's get started. I'm gonna heat up our pan. Put it on medium high, and we're gonna add in some olive oil. Just a little bit, you don't need much. And in the meantime, we're also going to go ahead and turn on our oven to 350 degrees. Oh, you thought we were cooking this all on the top of the stove? Silly boys and girls. No, we're going to get it all started up here, get it all mixed in, and just so we have space to do other things on the stovetop and we can just kind of set it and forget it, we're going to take and we're going to set it inside the oven. All right? In the meantime, while we let that heat up, let's go ahead and season our oxtails. So I'm just going to take the country seasoning, put it on the oxtails, toss it all, get it well coated, but it doesn't have to be too much, because now as it's cooking inside the oven, it's going to reduce the sauce, and then all of that salt and pepper that you have in there, all that flavor is going to get concentrated. You put too much salt on there now, you won't be able to take it back out later, but if you put in too little, you can add some later. You decide. So, got all tossed up. We're waiting for our oil to heat up, and then we'll get this inside there. All right, let's see. There's the sizzle. We's ready. So, unlike when I did the meat for the curry goat, I definitely want this to brown. So, while you can eat the stem and all on the tree collards, just like regular collard greens, I tend to go ahead and just get rid of it. And because they stay pretty young, just simply slide it on down. And it'll snap where the root, the stem is at its most tender. Pretty easy. Now, don't be thinking that I got dirty greens. I already washed these to save some air time. Save your time. And wash and rinse. But you don't have to dry them, don't have to spin them, because we're going to put them in some liquid anyway, and they're going to shrink up in size just like the other collard greens. And you can continuously harvest throughout its life. You just simply take off the bottom leaves and leave the tufts at the top at least, and you'll be good to go. Now, this is more than what I need for myself for one meal, but ain't nobody got time to be going out there, picking off tree collards, washing them, cutting them up, and cooking them each time you want to eat. So go ahead and cook yourself up a nice little batch. Give your tree collard time to recover and grow some new bottom leaves and top leaves. And in the meantime, you got good eats. Oops, maybe I shouldn't say that. There's a show called Good Eats, and I don't want nobody coming after me. All this nice greenery will go here in the compost. The circle of life. Oh. All right, check on the meat. Looking good. Cool. Now I'm going to take these out. And I'm going to put in the little small ones. But don't crowd the pan. Just set it in there, and that's why I use this big one. Didn't even cost a whole lot, this pan. I got it from Wally World, which for those of you not familiar with how I speak, that's Walmart. And I don't think it was even $30 for this pan. But it's a huge pan. I can cook quite a bit in there, and it does me well both here in my house and also for catering events. Now, this is going to take a little bit of time to brown, so don't be sitting in there tossing and turning and tossing and turning. Let it sit, let it brown, and then turn, okay? Behave. We've got a few more pieces to go in there. Once that's done, we'll pull those out, we'll throw these in. In the meantime, let me talk to you about tree collards. Tree collards are actual collard greens, except they grow, as the name says, on a tree. And I'll put up a picture here. Here on the farm, I grow two kinds. I've got the purple and I've got the dinosaur. I'll get up close so you can see. It's the dinosaur leaf and the purple leaf. Now, as it gets bigger and more mature the leaf, you'll see all the veins here are purple. When it's young, the leaf itself is very purple looking. Okay? Has all the same vitamins and nutrients that other shorter collard greens have. However, tree collards, if you're fortunate enough to live in zones 7 through 10, if you take care of them well enough, they actually are perennial, and they will grow to just over 6 feet tall and live for you for about 3 to 5 years. In addition, to create more, you just simply propagate it from the current tree collard, and now you've got more. So it just goes on and on and on, and these, unlike most of the other brassicas like broccoli and collard greens and some of the kales, they don't have a bitterness. They're actually pretty sweet, and you can eat them raw, and they're not very tough. They don't take as long as regular collard greens to cook, but I usually, and you'll see tonight, make it up very similar to how I do regular collard greens. Look at that. Nice. See? Keep your hands to yourself and things will turn out good. So, while you can eat the stem and all on the tree collards, just like regular collard greens, I tend to go ahead and just get rid of it. And because they stay pretty young, just simply slide it on down. And it'll snap where the root, the stem is at its most tender. Pretty easy. Now, don't be thinking that I got dirty greens. I already washed these to save some hair time. Save your time. And wash and rinse. But you don't have to dry them, don't have to spin them, because we're going to put them in some liquid anyway, and they're going to shrink up in size just like the other collard greens. And you can continuously harvest throughout its life. You just simply take off the bottom leaves and leave the tops at the top at least, and you'll be good to go. Now, this is more than what I need for myself for one meal, but ain't nobody got time to be going out there, picking off tree collards, washing them, cutting them up, and cooking them each time you want to eat. So go ahead and cook yourself up a nice little batch. Give your tree collard time to recover and grow some new bottom leaves and top leaves. And in the meantime, you got good eats. Oops, maybe I shouldn't say that. There's a show called Good Eats, and I don't want nobody coming after me. All this nice greenery will go here in the compost. The circle of life. Oh. All right, check on the meat. Looking good. Cool. Now I'm going to take these out. put in the little small ones. The ones don't take long to brown up. And you can toss them around. They're still good eats, but I call them the teas because what am I gonna do with this? There I go again, talking about good eats. I need to get that out of my mind. Okay. Now, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put in the wine. And I'm going to use that to what they call deglaze the pan. What are you talking about, Willis? All right. Simply means you want to take this and all that fine goodness that stuck to the bottom of the pan and made your pan look like things were burnt and sticking. All of that has flavor in it. And so now I just take and rub the spoon across the bottom and it will break all that up, put it back into my sauce, and not only that, now it won't be a whole lot of scrubbing at the end when all is said and done. Genius. Pure genius. All right, put in my onion. And we don't have to wait for the onions to sweat in this recipe because it's all gonna slow cook for the next 2 to 3 hours. Oh my goodness. This is the kind of thing where if you don't have time, if you put it all together, you can put it inside your slow cooker before you leave for work, and it'll be ready for you by the time you get home. You'll open that door, house will be smelling good. Yeah. And the only thing you'll want to do is eat. Put in tomatoes. This just helps to give me my brown sauce. You're not gonna really taste, it's not gonna be like marinara or nothing like that, so get that thought out of your mind. The bone broth. The Worcestershire. And we'll put back in the big pieces that we took out previously. Whew, if you could smell that. Just kind of stir it all up there. It doesn't have to cover the meat, because it's just going to slow cook in the oven. Go ahead and put the lid on there. Put it in the oven. shut up. And the oven will do for us like what your crock pot does. Cook it nice and slow, but now the heat totally surrounds it. So it's not just cooking from the bottom where it has the potential of sticking and drying out and crusting and all that other nastiness. This is essentially what we call a braise, okay? A slower cook, lower temperature. I could go with 300, but I'm hungry, so I'm trying to speed it up a little bit. And the taste will be magnificent. You left all that fat on them oxtails? Leave it. You need it. For fat is the spice of life, okay? In the end, your taste buds will thank you for it. And if you want, you can always make it the day before, let it cool, set in the refrigerator, and the next day, which will make it even taste even better, all the fat will have gelled and congealed on the top, and you can just use a spoon and scrape off all the goodness. I hope you don't, but you can, okay? So I'm going to use this bigger pot, even though I know it's all going to reduce down to about half the size of where it's at now. On a medium heat, I'm going to go ahead and use my secret weapon. You know, when I do collard greens, I take it, I put in a smoked piece of meat. But you know what this is? This is saved bacon fat, okay? And I keep it all my different fats. I've got pork fat, bacon fat, beef fat, chicken fat, turkey fat, all of them in jelly jars, hence the name of my catering company. And I use it in the future because, again, fat is the spice of life. That hickory smoke flavor from that bacon I ate for breakfast is now inside here. I'm going to put it in the pan and transfer it to my collard greens. And I know some of you know what I'm talking about. Your mama, your grandmama, your aunties had those little coffee cans or jars that they used to just sit at the back of the stove or on the counter or on the side, except I take and refrigerate mine just to keep it better for a longer period of time. But they knew, and now I'm telling you the goodness. But if that wasn't enough, I'm gonna add a stick of butter. Unless your doctor said you can't have it, don't cheat yourself. Put it on in there. You'll be all right. Instead of trying to find that parking space at the front of the parking lot, park towards the middle or the back of the parking lot and get those extra steps in. Now you can work off that butter. See? Okay. Stir that up. See? It already smells like bacon and ain't a drop of actual bacon in there. Just the fat. Okay, we're gonna add some red pepper flakes. Because I gotta have everything with some heat. Stir that up. Now let me get some water. I just grab whatever's near. country seasoning. Who moved my country seasoning? I moved the country seasoning because I'm the only one in here. Duh. Woo. And now I'm going to put in the collards. I don't bother with cutting it all up. Just twist it off, tear it. Again, tree collards are very easy. They're tender, so these just break right apart. You throw them on there. If you're wanting to grow your own tree collards, I bought these from a group called Project Tree Collard, and I'll put the link for this on the southernboyfarm.com website. Put my temperature on low. Put the lid on there and let it do its thing. All right, so we'll come back in a few minutes. I'll show you the done tree collards, but then we got a couple of hours, so I'm gonna go do laundry. I'm gonna go check out a few other things, and then I'll come back and we'll finish up and I'll show you the final product, okay? Hang in there, don't go nowhere. All right, well, here's the moment of truth. We are now going to eat, and it's about time. I should have did this the day before so I could eat once I got home. All right, anyway, here we go. Reheated the collard greens, that's ready. Turn the oven off. Nice. Look at that. That's good stuff right there. Well worth waiting for. All right, just time to plate it up and let's get eating. I'm gonna use a bowl so I can get sloppy messy. We'll just clean this here up for presentation purposes. But I am starved. Look at that. That's good. That's really, really good. Collard greens from the tree collard, some oxtails. Well, you know where that comes from. So I'm gonna go and eat, but I look forward to seeing each and every one of you back here the next time on Backyard Farm to Table. Bye.